welcome to the show, y'all.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, y'all.
E-Lee
Let's get it.
and Uncle Ron.
Let's go.
Keeping it 100, unfiltered. We the radio pundits and we're unfiltered. We gon' give it to you straight. The facts we can debate, but one false move and it's a checkmate. Ay, yes, we the radio pundits and we're unfiltered. Let's go. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's that time. This your man's and them, Ernest J. Lee, and this is Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. What a pleasure it is to come into your world from week to week and give it to you straight with absolutely no chasers whatsoever. It's our honor and privilege to do so, and that's for sure, y'all. As I always say, what's the purpose of having an international platform like this if you can't connect with the people? And that's what we're trying to do, connect with y'all and give it to you straight. And not only just to have fun, but also to bring you, the listener, an unfiltered perspective of the various goings on in the world today. It's our goal to bring the facts as they are and let the chips fall where they may. Now look, if you missed any of our past shows, or you just want to connect with us and catch up on past topics, there are several avenues to do so. Our free podcasts are available now on iTunes, Google Play, Deezer, Spreaker.com, and of course the iWorship96.com website. So you can go to any one of those digital platforms and simply search the name Ernest J. Lee Unfiltered and be instantly connected. Now that's a blessing, Uncle Ron. Yeah. Give him a praise.
Hallelujah.
You're just not going to praise him. See, that's what happens in church when you tell the people to give him a praise and they just sit there like God ain't did nothing for you. What's that all about?
I don't need this preaching fussing at me today, okay? If I wanted to fuss that, I could have stayed home. Praise the Lord. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Can't stand no fussy preacher. So Pete. It wasn't that funny.
You know what? No, yes, it is. Wait a minute. First of all, not only is that funny, but then you just introduced yourself. All right, y'all. I don't need to introduce Uncle Ron because he's already off and running today. Oh, God. No, that's funny. I'm sorry. That's hilarious.
Collect yourself.
Why did that set you back so far? Why set you back with that one? Why did that set you so far back?
Because
oh, that's funny.
Like I said, if I wanted to be fussed at, I got a wife that can fuss if she gonna fuss at me. But sometimes these people, they be taking out their aggressions on, the poor saints and friends out there. But I'm not having it.
Woo, now let me tell you something, y'all. We don't script this show, but that was hilarious right there because that took me all the way off. I didn't know that was going to set you back that far. I would have left it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, you all right? You got yourself together?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, all right. Bless his name.
Bless his holy name. I think about it. I had a flashback.
Oh, my God. That was funny. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Let's get ourselves together here. Whew. But look, we have a great discussion on tap for the day. I've been on this polarizing political climate tip as of late, and I'm going to stay right there in that vein. As y'all deep folks be saying, I feel an anointing over in that area. Ain't that what they say going on? I feel the anointment over there. But seriously, y'all, I'm going to continue on this for a minute because, trust me, it's needed. Our timelines are blowing up with arguments and heated discussions that are literally causing people to fall out with one another and resort to name calling and all other kinds of pure foolishness. It's just foolish. I mean, people just arguing and cussing at each other online about these politics. I mean, really, what's going on? I don't get it. Uncle Ron, have you noticed that on your timeline lately? Especially now that we're getting close to the midterm elections. Have you seen people just going off?
I'm going to tell you the truth. Because it's so prevalent right now, some stuff I just don't even want to read because it's so much more of the same stuff. It just gets magnified and magnified and magnified. And I'm just kind of done with the whole process. I believe in being able to vote your conscience and all of that kind of stuff. But when I first started, I was watching CNN, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, breakfast, and lunch. And I done got to a point now that I'm kind of tired of it, to tell you the truth. Not that I don't try to stay abreast of what's going on, but I'm kind of weary with the whole process. And then, watching that foolishness with the president and what's his name? Yeah, him. Yeah. I'm like, come on. When does the foolishness stop?
Oh, no, I get it. My whole thing is this. I'm sure all of us can attest to this. We know people that just get into these back and forth arguments on Facebook, especially. I think that's one of the worst things about social media. It gives everybody a voice, but that's the bad thing. It gives everybody a voice. I know you can kind of understand, because not everybody can say so. Don't try to steal that, Uncle Ron. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get
Copyright.
That trademark.
Oh, okay. That's what's up.
Anyway, so we're going to hit that along with some very important and relevant topics that goes along with that conversation that I just feel need to be addressed. So stay locked and loaded and put your thinking caps on today and follow along with us, and we're going to get after it, y'all. All right. Uncle Ron, now look, we ain't did this in a while, and I know we're not going to do a traditional what kind of mess is that segment today, but I know you got something funny to say, man. Go on and give us another good laugh before we get into this stuff today.
Well, in other news, the News and Observer reported something I thought was pretty interesting, to say the least. And on the front page of the News and Observer, they spoke of there was a shooting spree, but I don't know if the verbiage was incorrect or whatever, but it was in bold print. So I'm sure someone had to have looked over it and proofread it. But anyway, I thought it was strange that it came up. And so the headline reads, 17 remain dead after shooting spree.
Remain?
But yeah, I'm trying to get some understanding on that. If they was dead, they remain dead. You don't, unless they talking about the rapture. So these people have been dead. So come to find out that the shooting spree was in the morgue. Go figure.
Oh, so that's what they meant by remain dead.
Yeah. I could be, I don't know. I'm just bewildered. I don't know. But I thought it's strange.
Was that the second death that the rapture talking about, Doc?
I wish I could answer that. I'm trying to figure out how 17 remain dead in a morgue. And
they was already dead, Uncle Ron.
I know, but
okay, we can
I don't get it.
Me,
I'm sorry.
All right, y'all. Look, right here we're gonna take a break. I can always count on Uncle Ron to give us something stupid and funny. That's hilarious. They remain dead, so we're gonna remain on the show and take a break right here. Check it out. Don't Quit by yours truly. Keep it locked right here, y'all, and we'll be right back with more Unfiltered right after this.
It's Ernest J. Lee with Fire for Hire on the track. Back again. Don't quit. Come on. Wipe your tear stain eyes. Let me hit the battle cry. The Lord is about to blow your mind. And you just cried for the last time. It's a brand new day. The blessings are flowing your way. And this is what I came to say. Today is your day. I know it's not a rush, but don't you quit. Give it to the Lord, let him handle it. But this is your season, it's time to start breathing. How you gonna come out? Jesus is the reason. Raise up, get happy, forget about your pain. Hands up, shout loud, cause he broke the chains.
Don't you give up, just sing the praise up. Throw your hands up high, the presence of the Lord is nigh.
It's nigh.
Don't you quit,
Don't you do it, y'all.
don't you
I said,
quit,
don't you do it, y'all.
don't you quit,
Come on.
don't you quit, don't you give up,
Don't you give up.
just sing the praise up.
Just sing the praise up.
Throw your hands up
Throw
high,
your hands up.
the presence of the Lord is nigh.
Long and nigh.
Don't you quit,
No.
don't you quit,
No, 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 no.
don't you quit,
Don't you quit.
don't you quit.
No.
Know it's kinda rough, but don't you quit. Give it to the Lord, let him handle it.
Let him handle it.
Left or to the right. He will give you strength to help you fight. You got to stand
that quick. He made a way, he made him pay, he made him say, man, we ain't messing with you no more, CJ. Man, I just pray and just have faith, he'll make a way. Hey, hey. Hallelujah. Yeah, yeah. You made a way, Lord. Out of no way. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. You made a way. Hey, hey. Wave your hand if you made a way. Hey. Stomp your feet if you made a way. Hey. Make some noise if you made a way. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, clap your hands if you made a way. Hey. Stomp your feet if you made a way. Hey. Give them praise if you made a way. Hey. Come on, come on. Wave your hands if you made a way. Come on. Stomp your feet if you made a way. Come on. Make some noise if you made a way. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Clap your hands if you made a way. Stomp your feet if you made a way.
We the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
Hey, y'all, this is Ernest J. Lee. We're back live right here on Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. Now, last week we dealt with the climate of polarizing politics in America. We covered some great info and got into some things that I thought shined a light on some of the underlying issues that contribute to this growing problem. So this week I want to expand on this topic. Why? Because it has so many branches and tentacles that lead to many different places and conversations. This is one of those things that you can talk about forever, and it goes on and on and on. So, I wanted to keep it going for sure. Now, one of those branches I want to talk about right now is the effect that the president's apparent lack of control of his mouth has on the rest of the politicians and ultimately the fellow citizens of the country. Now, yes, we all are individuals and we all have or should have our own mind and our own way of communicating, so I understand that. But however, because we can get so caught up in the love for our favorite candidate, and even more specifically in this case, our love for the current president, that we in some cases allow that to overly influence how we ourselves talk and communicate with others. And if you don't believe me, just take a good look down your timeline. Surprise you, especially as it relates to Facebook. You have people at each other's throats, and you have people going after each other with unabridged tenacity and furor. You even have pastors and leaders saying all kinds of things that, in my opinion, only propagates the same bad behavior being shown by our national leadership. As I said on last week's show, you can't want to win so bad that it makes you overlook what is decent. Especially if you call yourself a pastor now. I mean, come on. You must be the first partaker of love and patience. But in this current climate, you just don't see the temperance that the Bible speaks of, at least. And I mean, you don't see it nowhere from nobody. Well, I ain't gonna say that from nobody, but you know what I mean. A lot of people just doing what they do. They ain't got no check in their spirit right now. And a lot of today's so-called radical end-time pastors use the example of Jesus in the temple when he turned over the tables as an example of how he challenged the order of his day and time. But I like to surmise to you, preachers and people, you ain't Jesus, and the last time I checked, you ain't the Son of God either. So his purpose on earth was well defined, and when he saw what had become of the temple, yes, he challenged it and brought order. That's what he was supposed to do. He was sent here to bring order. But rather than to get into that long diatribe about that, I'm just simply saying this: stay in your lane. We are the salt and the light of the world. Yep. And we have to be the first partakers and examples of what we truly represent. Or what we say we represent, at least. We can't lower our standards, but all this back and forth rhetoric and all this stuff, these words being thrown around, is in essence divisive language and bad behavior, period. And I personally, in my lifetime, have not seen this country this divisive from the top down, meaning from the Oval Office to the legislative branches of our government. We are truly in unprecedented times. The level of vitriol and venom being spewed from the lips of our president is simply unconscionable, truly. I mean, it's just crazy. We've never seen a president operate like this. Again, and the people, they just look over it because he's doing a good job with the economy. So I guess money truly is the root of all evil. All right, let me stop that. Anyway, last week alone, for instance, he called a lady that he paid $130,000 to keep quiet about their affair, I might add. He called her horse face. But I guess she wasn't that when he was with her. Well, but that's a whole other story that I ain't even trying to get into. But he called her horse face, the same lady he paid the $130,000 to. So wow. Then in the backdrop of the investigation of the missing journalist that was allegedly killed by the Saudis, we saw on the news last week that they were prepared to say it was something that went rogue and some people, I guess stepped out of line and did what they did. But now the president, despite his words to the contrary, has profited greatly financially from them. But even in the backdrop of all that, at a rally in Montana last week, go figure, Montana, he gave the proverbial high five to State Representative Gianforte for assaulting a journalist. He body slammed the dude for asking him a question about healthcare. He body slammed him for asking him a question. Imagine that in 2018, you get body slammed for asking a politician about healthcare. I mean, wow, come on now. But anyway, this man was convicted of assault in order. Now, this man I'm talking about is the representative, Gianforte. He was convicted of that assault in order to attend anger management classes. And then the president goes out and basically co-signs him saying, and I quote, "Any guy who can do a body slam like that is my kind of guy." Wow. Okay. I mean, even if that was the case, man, why would you verbalize that to the entire world? Literally, the entire world, not just the country, but the whole world. I mean, the world is watching. So, you just basically said it's okay to body slam journalists. And if you can body slam people, you my kind of dude. Man, where is your self-control? You are indeed the leader of the free world. But again, he called white nationalists very fine people last year, so I guess I'm not even surprised. But still, this is just a big ball of mess. And like I said on last week, his supporters, Christians and the like, continue to unabashedly support him and sympathize with him as well. They continue to make excuses for his bad behavior, and I just don't get it. But then again, well, yes, I do. Just like someone told me last week, who was the leader, by the way. He asked me, did I like my 401k being intact and growing because of the economy and all that? So, of course, I said yes. But then he proceeded to tell me, well, I don't care how Trump talks as long as the economy is great and all that. So basically, hey, do what you want to do, long as just keep the money flowing. Like they say, always follow the money. That's something right there. But you know what? That's a microcosm of what's going on today. As long as your side is winning, then everything else is not a big deal. Now, I agree winning is definitely important. I mean, hey, you got to win. I get it. But at what cost are you winning? That's the issue that we have to understand. What is it actually costing us in the long run, especially as a people in the country? Some stuff just ain't worth it in the long run. You know what's even more amazing, though? People perceive, just because you don't agree with the process and procedures of a person, that you're in some way against them. And I think that's what starts a lot of these arguments. People think because a person may have an opinion about the way that a person is handling themselves or talking, that they are against them. And that's just simply not true. I'm personally on record saying that I believe that Trump is a good businessman. I mean, he's good in those areas. But that doesn't give him carte blanche to just simply denigrate people and just say whatever the heck he wants to say to people, mock them and do all this kind of stuff, mocking handicapped people and saying he wants to punch a person in the face. Come on, man. Especially from a position of power. I mean, that most times makes you look like a bully. Newsflash, it's okay to win gracefully. It's okay to be, have the power and win gracefully. It's okay. Especially when you're the leader of the free world. I keep saying it. I mean, just like in the Stormy Daniels situation. He won the court case. I mean, it was tossed out. So, he had won. It was tossed out. No big deal. But instead of just letting it go and moving on to important matters, such as trying to find out who killed this journalist, because, your homeboys and your cronies, are seemingly involved, you just can't resist the urge to gloat and call her horse face. I mean, it's just crazy, man. Wow. I just, it's classic, as we say. Now, this also is in the face of a sensitive time as it relates to the woman's vote in the upcoming midterm elections. He must not understand that he's the president of all people, all races, all genders. And yes, even the horse-faced Stormy Daniels. I'm sorry, but he's our president too. Just thought I'd throw that in there. But you know what? That's just like your pastor calling you a name from the pulpit, embarrassing you because you're in the wrong or you're doing something crazy. So think about it. He called you out from the pulpit. How would you feel about that? But some of y'all probably won't even think that's wrong that support him. So anyway, I digress. Let me leave that alone. But these are the same people who support candidates on the Republican side who are now even using racial imagery in the ads for the upcoming midterms. I know one candidate even called his opponent that has a Muslim name, he called him a security risk. Mind you, the candidate is an American-born Christian. He's born here right in the United States. I think his grandfather, some may have been tied to terrorists or something like that back in the day, but he's an American Christian born right here in the U.S. Man, this is just laughable. People are tripped, but some of our own continue to help propagate these messages and undertones of overt racial dog whistling, all for the sake of their stock portfolios looking great. But again, everyone overlooks what they want to overlook. It's sort of like some Christians, they have their pet sins and stuff that they overlook because that person is, their favorite preacher, their favorite singer. Ain't that something? You'll overlook that, but, let it be somebody you don't like, then you dog them. But we got to do better in how we use our voice and platforms. Well, that's if we want to be taken seriously as a body of Christ, for sure, and as a people. But right now, the overall worldview of the Lord's church is shaky at best, and we got to fix that. None of us have all the answers, but what we do have is common sense. And we can't continue to be a part of this divide and conquer operation that is presently at work in our political system. Just can't do it. I want to say this too. There are no perfect people. Therefore, it's impossible to expect politicians to be perfect. I mean, that's a given. No one's perfect. However, we can and should expect for them to represent us, the people, in a way that reflects who we are as a society and a culture. But then you have to look deeper and be resigned to the fact that, hey, maybe this is who we are and who we have become. Now, that right there is a sobering thought, one that should make all of us check our moral compass as a people and begin to be the change that we seek. Change starts from within, not from the election of our favorite candidate. So just, a lot of people made that mistake when President Obama was elected. They just felt like, because he said change and hope and all this stuff, that stuff was just going to get better. And in some cases, it got worse. So, it ain't just because you want to believe in change. You got to be the change. Change starts from us, the people, using our voice and our God-given common sense. That, yes, in some cases, isn't as common as we think, but nevertheless, use those tools to enact change and spark the energy needed to defeat this growing trend of divisiveness in our society. We got to remember, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Just can't do it. Now, that's the real deal. If we not on one accord or in one mind, then we definitely can't enact anything but more confusion. Whenever you operate in, it's going to be more of that. So if you operate in confusion and divisiveness, it's going to just be more of that if we don't change it. Now, look, there are 2 more weeks to the midterm elections. So let's get in tune with the tenor of the times and familiarize ourselves with the candidates and the issues that we are facing as a nation and as a people. So look, I'm definitely going to continue this conversation and use this platform as a voice for change and awareness. So with that, man, let's take a break right here and get to some music. I'm going to give y'all time to catch y'all breath. You feel me? All right, man. Look, we got to talk about this stuff, though. It's major. We can't just be so heavily minded we know earthly good. We got to come on back down to earth and deal with some of the stuff that's bothering us. So right here, we'll be back with more Unfiltered after this. Right here's the Wake Up Anthem featuring Swifty McVeigh, Logic L. Dot, and yours truly. So keep it locked right here. We'll be right back.
Yeah, Davis fans. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Everybody wake up, the struggle's far from over. We got people dying, we lost so many soldiers. So much blood in the streets, it's boiling over. But we gotta make a change and bring that closure. Wake up, my city. Wake up, rise up, get up, do something, speak up. 'Cause we don't wanna lose another one to fight, and we can do it if we all stand united.
Take time, think of the consequence. You really think you thinking quick? I'm talking Titanic. We all on that sinking ship. Going home where your port's gon' sit. Now it's too late, you out of here quick. 4x4 behind them bricks. Bye wide, no picket fence. My offense is the defense, and I ain't got no time. Pay attention, watch some signs. So misguided, must be blind. My heart can pump no Kool-Aid. I must be free, I can't be a slave. I'm staying strong, I can't be afraid. Know your history, them schemes we came.
Everybody wake up, the struggle's far from over. We got people dying, we lost so many soldiers. So much blood in the streets, it's boiling over. But we gotta make the change and bring that closure. Wake up, my city. Wake up, rise up, get up, do something, speak up. 'Cause we don't wanna lose another one to fight it. We can do it if we all get united. Body after body piling up, it's an epidemic, affecting everybody. It's an epidemic. We done turned the city streets into a war zone, and every time you make it home, it's like a milestone. Everywhere you go, you gotta take your stride. Even in church, they be trying to snap, but God ain't pleased, he ain't down with that. We trying to live in peace, put down your gas. We on fire, we all trying to live. Head to the sky, we look to the hills. And while you out there, turn it up, stay in God's will. Everybody wake up, the struggle's far from over. We got people dying, we lost so many souls. Rest on, toast. Blood in the streets, it's boiling over. But we that closure. Wake up, my city. Wake up, rise up, get up, do something, speak up. 'Cause we don't wanna lose another one to fight on. We can do it if we all stand united.
There's no camaraderie in this society. Sticking together is like winning a lottery. Chances slim. The past has been brainwashing us. The cash they spend is not trying to help the community anyway. I'ma try to teach these kids a better way. Time to change, run the nation. Get up and get you an education. 'Cause living in poverty is not where I'ma be. That's why I'm taking a stand to say something. This economy gonna make monopoly. You gotta invest, trust God to stay strong. Before they turn this earth to napalm, I'ma take what's mine and then some. They ain't gonna stop my income. Wake up, people, embrace his anthem.
Everybody wake up, the struggle's far from over. We got people dying, we lost so many soldiers. So much blood in the streets, it's boiling over. But we gotta make the change and bring that closure. Wake up, my city. Wake up, rise up, get up, do something, speak up. 'Cause we don't wanna lose another one to fight it. We can do it if we all stand united.
Yo, this your boy, Swifty McVeigh, that D12 representative, and I'm locked and unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. Let's get it.
No justice, no peace. There's blood being wasted in these streets. People under pressure, taking drastic measures, trying to make sense of all these casualties. Hands up, don't shoot. We just want some answers. We ain't trying to loot. Praying for the better, looking for some shelter. It's all a part of equality. What a shame, what a shame. We're at a standstill, things are the same. We gotta get through the clouds and rain. And if we want results, then we gotta be the change. We all gotta step to the plate, talk the talk and participate. Let's do it now before we step in the future. Everybody down, I see another shooter. All lives matter, it don't matter who we are or where we come from. We matter, we matter. Sons and daughters, yeah. All lives matter, it don't matter who we are or where we come from. We matter, we matter. It don't matter, we matter, we matter. Ferguson, Sandy Hook, Staten Island, people are shook. We can't forget about Trayvon Martin. How did all of these cases get a pardon? Something is wrong in society. We need something bigger than apologies. This is a call to action. Let's get results that meet our satisfaction. What a shame, what a shame. We're at a standstill. We gotta get through the clouds and rain. And if we want results, then we gotta be the change. We all gotta step to the plate, talk the talk and participate. Let's do it now before we step in the future. Get down, I see another shooter. All lives matter, it don't matter who we are or where we come from. We matter, we matter. Sons and daughters, kings and queens. All lives matter, it don't matter who we are or where we come from. We matter, I matter, it don't matter, you matter, we matter, we matter. We should be uncomfortable with the situation at hand. No more looking down on our fellow man. Yes, we matter. Yes, we matter. Everybody rep your city. Hey, ooh, yeah. This is an open letter. Martin had a dream. We in this thing together. All lives matter. Who we are, where we come from. We matter, we matter. Sons and daughters, we matter. Yes, we do. All lives matter. Everybody matters. All lives don't matter. We matter.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tony Terry, and I keep it locked into Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron.
We the radio pun. pundits and we're unfiltered.
This is Ernest J. Lee, and we're back right here on Unfiltered. You know what I'm saying? This is how we do it. But look, right here, I want to hit this topic that I've been following for the past few weeks, and that topic is voter suppression. Yep, voter suppression. You guessed it. We know that voter suppression can rear its ugly head in a myriad of ways, some overt and some more ambiguous. But nonetheless, the issue continues to plague those voters in predominantly urban and low-income areas of our country. And of course, many of those areas are populated with African Americans and other people of color. So right here, I want to play a clip that I found that addresses this topic of voter suppression. I just mentioned in the last segment that we have the midterm elections coming up in a few weeks. Well, one of those heated elections is taking place in my current state of Georgia. People are trying to tamp down the noise of this story. But again, why aren't those people who are supporting certain policies of this current administration and the effects that they have had on our way of life during these past 18 months, why they're not speaking out on the suppression of 70% of the 53,000 unprocessed voter registrations on the list in the state of Georgia are what? You guessed it, African American. Let me say that again. These same people who are supporting this administration, they won't speak out on the voter suppression of 70% of the 53,000 unprocessed voter registrations on the list in the state of Georgia. And guess what? Again, they're African American for the most part. And this is in a state where it's only 32% African American residents anyway. So 70% of 53,000 unprocessed voter registrations are from African Americans, and we only make up 32% of the whole population of the state. That's mind-blowing. That somehow this snafu is just a coincidence in this gubernatorial race that is basically neck and neck. And that's in all the current polls. It's neck and neck. They're going stroke for stroke, baby. And then people have got on and said, well, as long as they got their license and all this stuff, they can still vote. But the problem is, you're going to turn them away if their license don't match up with the name. That's the whole point. It's like people just crack me up trying to sugarcoat stuff. At the end of the day, some people don't have license. Some people only have maybe a EBT card. I'm just saying. I'm just being funny. But some people don't drive. So what are they supposed to come? They can't vote because they don't have a license. I mean, it's just crazy. Now, mind you, the candidates are an African-American woman and a Caucasian male. So you do the math. But wait, I forgot to tell you the twist. The Republican candidate is also the current Secretary of State. Now, you're talking about a conflict of interest. It's laughable, but it's very troubling. I mean, the person that's in charge of the voter registrations and actually the votes itself is one of the candidates. And he's a Republican. So anyway, let me stop right here and play this hilarious clip by Trevor Noah. You know him from The Daily Show. That's an hilarious show, man. But listen, this clip is funny. I mean, it's hilarious, but there's so much truth to it, man. Trevor Noah is a comedic genius, and I just want y'all to check this out. It's about the voter suppression right down here in Georgia and just voter suppression in general. And me and Uncle Ron will be right back to discuss it right after this. So check it out right here, y'all.
We're keeping it 100, unfiltered. We're the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
As you know, we're a few weeks away from the scariest, spookiest time of the year. The midterm elections. I'm going to go as millions of illegal votes. Anyway, the midterms are in 19 days. And this year, every single vote counts. But there are a few states that are looking to change that.
As the midterm elections rapidly approach, there's been a rash of voter identification conflicts in states across the country.
Laws across the U.S. are being passed to make it harder, not easier, to vote.
Since the 2016 election, 9 states with Republican state legislatures have passed laws restricting the vote.
We've seen time and time again when Republicans can't win outright as far as votes, then they resort to what many would call cheating.
Come on, Republicans. Instead of trying to appeal to diverse voters, you just rather try and block their votes? Huh? It's like being a contestant on Jeopardy, and instead of trying to win by being the smartest person, you just spend all your time tasing your competition. And the worst part is that Alex Trebek probably wouldn't help you. You'd be like, ah! Alex would be like, I'm sorry, we were looking for what is Now, voter suppression. Voter suppression is an issue all over the United States. And right now, one of the most prominent examples is in Georgia. You see, the governor's race is neck and neck. You've got Stacey Abrams, who could become the first black female governor ever, and you've got Republican, right? And you've got Republican Brian Kemp, who would become the first white governor named Brian Kemp in Georgia, I think. And because the race is so close, something like this could make all the difference.
The Associated Press reports that ahead of this historic election, more than 53,000 Georgia residents have had their registrations put on hold thanks to a policy that requires their applications to precisely match information from other state agencies.
Now, basically, if your voter registration doesn't match up exactly with your DMV or Social Security information, your registration is put on hold, and you may not be able to vote. We're not talking about major details like your address. We're talking about simple misspellings, a rogue hyphen, a nickname on one form and your full name on another.
Okay, now, you're telling me that some people won't get to vote just because their voter name doesn't exactly match their name on file? Like, it's funny how this happens with voting, but it never stops the IRS, yeah? The IRS is never like, oh, we had Trevor Noah. I guess you don't have to pay taxes this year. No. They'll be like, hey, Trevor Noah, you misspelled your name and you owe us 20 grand. And because Georgia is currently run by Republicans, I'll give you one guess as to which type of people had their voter registrations put on hold.
Georgia's population is approximately 32% black, but the list of voter registrations on hold is nearly 70% black.
Well, well, well. My old friend racism. I've been expecting you. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting how every time Republicans create a voting restriction, it just so happens to disproportionately affect people of the brown? And I'm not going to lie, it's very slick. Yeah, because on the surface, it always seems legitimate. Yeah, 100 years ago, the argument was nothing personal. We can't let people vote if they don't know how to read. And black people were like, but learning to read was illegal. They're like, oh, ironic. Look at that. And now today, it's like, how can we trust that it's really you if the names aren't exactly the same? And black people are like, yeah, but white people never spell my name right. Well, that's too bad, Derek. It's like, yo, it's Derek. The truth is, like, let's be honest. Let's be honest. You don't have to say who you're targeting to target someone. You just have to know which rules are likely to hit them the most. Right? Like if I was trying to block white people at the voting booth, I wouldn't need to say, no white people are allowed. I'd just be like, sorry, no pumpkin spice lattes in the voting booth. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry, folks. You got to go home. I'm so sorry, everybody. So sorry, everybody. Go home. Go home. No, Derek, you're good. Come on in, man. Come on in. And what makes this Georgia situation extra shady, is who's in charge of allowing people to vote.
Kemp never stepped down as the current Secretary of State, which means he is the person overseeing the upcoming election.
And as the current Secretary of State, he's responsible for elections and voter registration.
Well, well, well. It appears there's something wrong with my chair. Come on, guys, really? The guy in charge of the election is also running the election. Like, that is some African level right there. We're used to that all the time on the continent. Someone will be like, okay, now that everyone has voted, I'm going to take the ballots into the other room, and when I come back, I'll tell you how I won. I mean, who won? I'll tell you who won. And now look, the truth is, if you ask Kemp, he'll say that the registration blocking isn't happening because these people are black, and it's not happening because he's in charge. He's going to say it's happening because most people who filled out their forms wrong just happen to be black. Because you see, white people fill out forms like this, and black people fill out forms like this. And look, we can go back and forth on this all day, right? But I think I know how to solve this. This is what I think we should do. Every black person in America needs to register as a Republican. Right? No, hear me out. Just say you're going to vote red. You don't have to do it. Just be like, I'm a Republican. When you go and vote, you can do whatever you want. When you come out, they ask you who you voted for, just be like, yo, snitches get stitches. That's all you do. That's all you do. And I guarantee you, if the GOP thinks that black people are voting for them, they will make sure that your vote counts. They're going to be waving Trayvons into the voting booth like a third base coach. And if you don't believe me, just look at Kanye West. Yeah. Before him, Republicans were like, black people, just do your job, shut up and dribble. But all he had to do was put on a MAGA hat, and they let him into the White House to yell at the president about time travel in the Oval Office. So if it worked for Kanye West, it'll work for you.
sense and we're unfiltered.
Hey y'all, this is E-Lynn. We're back live right here on Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. I really hope that you enjoyed that clip by Trevor Noah. He is a comedic genius, and that is some good stuff right there because, look, he made a joke about it, and it was funny, but at the end of the day, what he said had a lot of truth to it because, look, voter suppression is a real thing. It's not something that's made up. It's not something that people are just complaining about. People really feel disenfranchised because they can't vote or they feel that their vote is being suppressed or their right to vote is being suppressed. I mean, even look no further than the Voters' Rights Act of 1965. I mean, instead of just making it a law that's a law, meaning that's just there and in stone, they keep giving these amendments. We had an amendment, I think, in 1970, 1975, 1982, 1992, and again in 2006. Each amendment is like conceding with an impending expiration of the Act's special provisions. In other words, they can just make it a law if they wanted to. But see, that's how people hold stuff over your head, in my point of view. I mean, they can just end it at any time, in other words. So instead of just making that law something that's in stone and it is what it is, they just keep amending it. I mean, that's crazy. So that lets you know right there that this stuff your rights can be taken at any time. And I'm not trying to spread fear, but it is what it is. So Uncle Ron, as we close the segment today, voter suppression, I know you may not have personally been affected by voter suppression, but what are your thoughts about voter suppression in general?
I think it's unfair. I think it's if we're suppressing the voter because we want to reduce the number of voters who might vote against a certain candidate or a proposition, I think that's wrong because you should be able to vote your conscience regardless of who it affects or who it does not affect, who benefits from it and who does not benefit from it. So whereas with gerrymandering, I'll just give you the definition of it, is to manipulate the boundaries of an electoral constituency so as to favor one party or class. Another definition is to achieve by manipulating the boundaries of an electoral constituency. And so just the definition of gerrymandering lets me know that it ain't fair and it's not favorable to people, especially when they're forced to move or to vote in another district.
Wow. So that just means that they can just move you around like they want to move you around as it relates to who they want to win or how they want the vote to turn out, basically. Like, I think the guy said in the clip, he said in Africa where he's from, he said he made a joke, but he says just like when they take the votes and say, we're going to take them to the back and we'll tell you how I won. I mean, we'll tell you who won. In other words, we can control the outcome like we want to with different ways and different tools of making it happen. Man, this is crazy. And that's why you have to be informed. You have to get out and vote. You have to get informed about who you're voting for and what you're voting for. Sometimes people just go, I know I've been guilty of this in the past, especially years ago when I really didn't know no better. I just vote a straight Democratic ticket or a straight Republican ticket. Have you ever did that before, around where you just vote a straight one way and don't even know who's what and what's what?
Yeah, because for whatever reason, we were pretty much conditioned to do that by just, from our families doing it and whatnot. But I don't know if you know now, but in Michigan, you cannot vote straight Democrat or Republican. You have to go through this is new, you have to go through, click or check off or whatever. So there's no more straight ticket balloting.
That's great, though. See, now that's good, though, because that makes people have to know what they know. Now, see, what you run into a problem with, though, is if you don't really know the issues, you're going to sit in that voting booth with a thin bead of sweat on your upper lip because you're nervous, or the back of your neck being hot because you don't know what to vote, what you're voting for. You don't know what the issues are. See, these are things that, look, y'all, we can be shouting and speaking in tongues and falling out and all this stuff, and y'all think I just don't like church people. I love them. I'm a church boy, but listen, we got to come up off some of that, man, and get to what's really going on. This world is going a certain way, and we keep just going along with it because we keep saying we're on our way to heaven and so glad. But listen, sweets, if God don't come back tomorrow or next year or next 5 years or the next 10 years or the next 25 years, you got to live in this world. So as you're living here, the Bible says, occupy until I come. In other words, not just occupy your space or just occupy your own family or occupy your time. What it means is to live. So as you're living, find out what it is you're living for. Find out who's governing you, who's making decisions for you as leaders and secondary leaders in this country. It's not just the president, but we don't even know that, everybody got up in arms over the Brett Kavanaugh situation with the Supreme Court, but we don't understand that President Trump had, he's appointed a whole lot of judges at the state level and the county level. So we just up in arms over this Brett Kavanaugh thing, but he's appointed a whole lot of other judges, and there's more to come. This president is responsible for putting all these judges in because that's just how the time has fallen. During his presidency, he's responsible for putting these people in. So it ain't just the big things, y'all. We got to pay attention to the small things because that's what sometimes the devil is in the details sometimes. So look, y'all, get out and vote. Get out and figure out who you're voting for and why you're voting. And let's not just vote one straight way or one straight this or one straight that. Find out who's the best candidate for the job, not your favorite candidate. And don't take up for your favorite candidate when they out of pocket, y'all. All right. Now let's take a quick break right here. I hope you're really enjoying this today, y'all. This is really good stuff. So keep it locked right here. It's Uncle Ron. It's Ernest J. Lee. And we'll be right back right after this.
What's up, y'all? This your boy Laurel, co-host of the Unfiltered Show with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. Listen, do you have a new single that you want played on air? Well, send it in and let us check it out. We're now accepting new music for our show. Also, if you have any music requests, send those in as well. Hit us up at the Unfiltered Radio Show at gmail.com. That's the Unfiltered Radio Show at gmail.com. Send us that new fire and let us make some joyful noise for the kingdom, y'all.
Hey, this is Uncle Ron, one half of the new show Unfiltered. Listen, do you want to advertise or even be featured on one of our shows? Make sure you reach out to us and let us know. Email us at the unfilteredradioshow@gmail.com. Also, if you have any show topics and or questions that you would like for us to tackle, please feel free to let us know. We would love to hear from you. Make sure you keep it locked right here. I holla.
We're keeping it 100, unfiltered, with the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
Hey, this is Ernest J. Lee. We're back live right here on Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee, and you know who, Uncle Ron. Uncle Ron, man, this has been a great day, a great show, man. I'm so glad that we're hitting this political stuff because a lot of people, like I said, they on their way to heaven and so glad, but they sure ain't on their way to the polls, Doc. You know what tickled me? I saw a meme a couple weeks ago that said Black Panther 2 comes out November the 6th at a poll near you. And, it's funny, but it's so true. We went out in droves, Doc, for this Black Panther movie, and it was a good movie. But, Uncle Ron, what do you think the problem is? Why people won't, spend the time to do something that's going to affect their future? We just affect the moment. We don't affect our future.
Well, like I had said before, it's not a priority. And if it's not a priority to you, you're going to just do what you feel. It doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't mean it's going to benefit you. It's not going to benefit your family. It's just going to be about you. And unfortunately, sadly, when it's only about you, it's really about nothing. So you really should try to do whatever you can to inform yourself, to be watchful. The Bible tells us to watch and to pray. Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much, where I'm at with that. And it's not about you all the time. It's about you and those who you live with, those who you supposedly care about. And if you do that, then you'll do better, I believe.
That's true. Like I said earlier, there are no perfect people, so therefore it's impossible to expect our politicians and leaders even to be perfect. I mean, that's a given. But you know what? Like I said, I'm gonna say it again to close this show. It is okay, and it's apropos, as my mother would say. That's a big word, Uncle Ron.
All right, just saying apropos. Go on.
It is certainly in order to expect the people that represent us to represent us as a people upon who we are as a society and as a culture. That's all right. That's just our reasonable service. So it's okay to expect the best. Why? I don't know why we get into this thing where, like I said, some of these people are supporting candidates. And again, I'm not against anybody. I'm just for the truth. I'm for the right thing. I'm for the people that's going to do right by us. And if President Trump is doing a good job in certain areas, hey, I'll give him his props. But all this name calling, calling people horse face and, saying you okay with people body slamming somebody. I mean, we can keep saying that that's not a big deal if we want to, but if we're setting the standard, it's almost like okay, let me go here before we close the show. A lot of people don't like what they see on TV as it relates to people of the same sex kissing and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, just like you have a problem with that because you don't want people to see that, why do you have again, like I said a minute ago, the small foxes is what destroy the vine. Why are you okay with people that's in leadership and that's your president, calling people horse face? I mean, that's not as innocent as it sounds, because you got little kids looking up to that's going to be doing that at school tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Right? You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, we pick and choose, like I said earlier, we pick and choose our pet sins and what we want to say is bad and what we want to say is okay. But look, right is right, wrong is wrong. Ain't no in between. It is what it is. It's either in or out. And that's how you got to be, man. A house divided against itself cannot stand. That's the real deal. So look, we got to get on one accord. We got to stop this divisiveness. And Uncle Ron, we got to stay unfiltered, man, because if we don't, people just going to take it, and they going to sugarcoat it and they going to act like it's okay. But look, I'm glad we got this platform, bro. Real talk.
Hey, man, I do. I'm agreeing with you on that. And I appreciate the opportunity.
No doubt, y'all. Look, we'll be back next week, same time, same station, same place. Uncle Ron, Ernest J. Lee. I'm Annie Lee and Ernest Lee Singers, baby boy. And we out of here, y'all. Peace.
Deuces.
Love is so amazing, moving through the soul flow like the sea. There's no force more greater, feel like second nature. Ain't nothing more beautiful. Love is universal. So let's come together, bring healing to the world. The power of love is so strong, it can conquer it all. And love is healing, it covers us all. Spread it across the world. Gotta get rid of hate and put love in its place. Yes, I believe in love. So everybody just raise your hand. Every girl, boy, woman, and man, open up and let it show. Don't you know love is the only way to go? Oh, war is not the answer, no. It's gotta be a better way. What about all the children? And who is gonna fight for them? Oh, so if we're gonna fight together, we need to unite together. Take a stand, grab a hand, yes we can. Yeah, we gotta believe in love. The power of love is so strong, it can conquer it all. And love is healing, it covers us all. Spread it across the world. Gotta get rid of hate and put love in its place. Yes, I believe in love. Oh, 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 oh. I believe in love. Oh, 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 oh. I believe in love. Love, love, love. I believe in love, 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 love. I believe in love. There's nothing more powerful than the strength of love. It'll do what faith can't get done. The precious beauty of love. During hard times you overcome. Touch the world, shake the world. Reach out to every man, every woman, boy and girl. No matter what your color or nationality, let love set you free. Oh, 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 oh. I believe in love. Oh, 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 oh. Spread it across the world. We gotta get rid of hate and put love in its place. Yes, I believe in love. Love. Oh, love. People all over the world, I know you hear me. Let's stand together in unity. Spread it across the world. We gotta get rid of hate and put love in its place. Yes, I believe in love. with you.